Now, the city of Cape Town is defending one of its most divisive proposals, a 180 million rand security wall along the N2 near the airport. The city argues this is a critical safety measure, but for some communities, the wall is a way of hiding poverty rather than solving the root causes of crime.
That has been a big challenge for us. That's called the approach road. That is where people come out from the airport or from the N2 to the airport. That road and that section of the N2 has been in an area where tourists or even people have been targeted, local people have been targeted, bricks thrown at cars, bricks or stones, obstacles put in the way of vehicles. And in order to address that issue, the city has employed and created a unit that works only in that specific area. The traffic department has also got a highway unit. They focus mainly on the N2 and also that R180 section and the section of the airport. So that is how we have reacted. Of course, also the camera system has been put in place. All of those things play a role in bringing down what has been happening.
Well, let's take you back to Cape Town now for a latest update, particularly on that story as Ziniko Mhlaba is on the ground. Ziniko, just moments ago, you took us on the route exactly where trouble is, and you were driving along a particular route and telling us where could be the hot spots. But you've now bumped into a situation. Tell us what you've come to.
Well, Prativi, actually we had just parked under this particular bridge because there were traffic officers who were, parked here just monitoring this particular stretch of the highways. We see them now driving off. So as we're just catching some breath, then this particular vehicle next to me drove very quickly, approached the traffic officers along the road. You could see that they were very emotional and we was just sitting in the car. So we approached them just to find out what was the issue. They then told us that as they were driving on the other side of the highway, northbound, going towards the city, they were hit. A stone was thrown to their vehicle. So they were coming to report that particular incident to the officers. So as you can see there, that there's a bit of fencing on the other side of that particular road. However, as they were driving around, then a stone was thrown to them. And we just want to give the viewers the mark where this particular car was hit. It was hit here by a stone just on the bonnet. But to get more details now, let's talk to the gentleman. Sir, thank you very much for your time. We just saw you rushing, approaching the traffic officers. Give us details in terms of what had happened.
Okay, I was on my way dropping my daughter at work and I drove up the N2. And this young boy threw a stone. He aimed for the windscreen, but he hit the bonnet.
Yeah.
So,
do you think maybe they were playing or they were deliberately targeting the vehicle? What did you read from that situation?
He deliberately targeted the vehicle. He wanted to hit the windscreen. But, obviously I'm not going to pull over because I saw a gentleman standing there, and I just drove on. When I came back, I saw the traffic cop. And we reported it to the traffic cop,
What was the response of the highway traffic officers?
They were very helpful, They went up and we saw the boy standing there and they ran into the shacks,
Sorry to cut you, sir. There's an ongoing conversation here about the prevalence of incidents such as the one that just happened to you. How often have you heard or have you experienced this particular experience that people are talking about right now?
It's actually my second time now. The one time I dropped her at work because she works not normal hours, she starts at 4 o'clock and I fetch her at 12:30. And then when we came home, somebody actually tried to hijack me, when I dropped her off and I came home. And she starts the 4 o'clock shift in the morning, So I just missed to dodge them on when I turned onto the R300. I could read the road, but not the same for my daughter. That's why I dropped her at work.
Yeah. Talk to us about the proposition or the proposal by the city saying that maybe erecting a wall along this particular stretch of road would go a long way in terms of eradicating such incidents. What's your view on that?
Yes, I think they should erect the wall there, and it's safer for the drivers. You've got a lot of tourists driving down here, coming to the airport, going to the airport, and I think it's very dangerous for them, driving onto the N2. I was thinking of letting my daughter quit this job because it's not safe for her, you know.
So talk to us about, your advice to someone who's not familiar with this particular stretch of road and the dangers, the one we are just discussing right now. What will be your message? What are the things to look out for? What are the things to do and not to do along this particular road?
What I normally do, I change lanes regularly, not staying in one lane, going from the first lane to the second lane and then back to the third lane and then like that, like that. I'm not in one lane constantly, and be vigilant on the road, try and read the road, because we saw him throwing something and I just decided just to move out of the way and luckily he hit the bonnet.
So, thank you very much. Let's leave you to attend to your matters. Thank you very much, sir, and very sorry for your experience, sir. So, Prati, it's something else to research an issue, to find people to talk about this particular issue, but it's something else when it happens right in front of you and you get to talk to someone who has just experienced it, like at that particular moment in real time. But I must really commend from what we've seen so far as the crew, there's a constant presence of law enforcement agencies along this particular road. Actually, earlier on, when we arrived on the N2, there was a crew of traffic officers who were parked here, and we were able to explain to them what is it that we were trying to do, what was our coverage about, and they assured us. They also gave us some insights in terms of where we can safely do crossings, as well as this gentleman. This thing happened just where the border, about 500 meters from where we are, and the traffic officers were, patrolling in this particular spot where we are right now. So in terms of them having to drive for just for about 5 minutes to get to law enforcement agencies and for the agents themselves to be able to respond timely, to get to a point where they can actually even identify the suspect. I think the turnaround, that response, that reaction can be commendable from what we've seen and what we've heard from some of the motorists as well we've spoken to. So that's the latest from us here, Prati, on the highway N2 in Cape Town.
Ziniko Mhlaba there, thanks for your intervention. Real-time account of the threats motorists face along that N2 highway. This, of course, has sparked the current debate that is going on, where the city now proposes a building of 180 million rand wall, while others within that community say, well, the actual causes of crime is what the city needs to be dealing with, and 180 million rands to build a wall is not the proper use of public funds. That debate, of course, is one that is hotly waging.